Hey, welcome everybody. How are you guys doing tonight? All right, so last time we were talking about these books on the base. So I thought this would be a cool little angle for the model for you to see on the smaller screen. Obviously, we can see it up here, but I just wanted to get you guys a little bit of a closer look before setting them to the side for the night. Because last week we talked about how I was going to have some homework. And what I did is I took a heat gun and I came underneath here and I just kind of briefly went over it with that heat gun to melt the glue, and I was able to get it loose enough to pop these books right out. So we are going to paint these books. Now I got thinking, because the dragon is blue, we have a brown base. We've got kind of a gold, almost like a yellow for our little triad going. We've got a little brown, a little blue, a little yellowish, kind of the gold color. So I was thinking about really kind of diving into this color theory thing. So we've got the primary colors kind of suggested that we've picked there. That little triad, those colors all run really well. So the next ones to look at kind of as the secondary colors would be more of like an orangish kind of tint, a purplish tint, and like a greenish tint for those secondary colors. So I did grab some purples. We've got some of these here. We've got Runic Purple and Wolfsbane Purple, which are darker and lighter. For the two, we can mess with those, have some fun with them. For orange, I grabbed another one of these samples and a Lotus Orange. This one isn't the same. I can't tell. There's not another label under it. So I'll have to kind of figure it out with my paints later. But then we've got Lotus Orange. So those are some oranges. And the greens I was looking at are almost like teals. To kind of match the bluish color. And one that I have is this platypus teal, and then I had another green. I'm gonna have to go grab it when we get to it, but a more of like a forest green or like an evergreen. Well, I should have stuck with my first guess. It's forest green. This is the other green one here. Get it to focus. Well, yeah, 09, there we go, 09013 forest green. So we've got a lighter one and a darker one, right? Kind of feel that theme there. And then I have my own, I've done books before. When I took it off, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let's see if I can get this detail. But if you look at it, you can kind of see some score marks running down them. So when I first took them out, they did not look like that. They were flat. But I took just a simple X-Acto knife here and just kind of ran it down like this with just light pressure just to get some lines going, some marks going. So now when we paint them, what I'll end up doing is doing like a page color first. So for our pages, I wanted to kind of lean into like a parchment paper feel. So I'm actually going to use this swarthy flesh and mix it a little with this pure white just to try to get a lighter, and maybe I'll add like a touch of yellow to it just to try to get it to look like that kind of dingy parchment paper. But we'll see how that goes. So tonight, that is what we're going to be focused on, are these three. And I have my Jacob Jansen painting handle. It's beautiful. I love it. I've had it for a few years now, and it's my go-to. But let's get one on here and get the covers started. So it looks like it's got 3 books, so we'll do this one first. That one shouldn't take too long. And maybe we can do our pages in there as well. So for this stack, I'm thinking maybe a purple, maybe a green. Yeah, we'll do purple and green to start, and then we'll go from there. We'll figure out which color we want to throw on top of it. Obviously, we need to set up our wet palette here. So again, we're going to get our water. Put it on there and just let it soak. Sorry, I had to go get my pack of wet palette papers. Put that on there, let it soak it up for a second. Now, because we do have a little excess water, again, I like to take my wash cup and I just put that in there for now. Try to keep it from getting on top of it. And now we're good to go. We can move this back over here with the brush cleaner off screen. I'm going to... You know what? We're going to use... This is my size 1, but we're going to use a size 2. A little bit bigger brush. Challenge myself to get into the crevices with it and try to get better with a bigger, larger stroke. Let's give the paint bottle a good shake real quick. And we're in business. Start with the forest green. We'll probably do that as the bottom book here. So I'm just gonna try to run right along this. And one thing I kind of have to remind myself every time I paint is it's easier to move this paint handle and the piece on it than it is for me to put my wrist in a weird position to try to get this green color I want on somewhere or in something intentionally. So I just got to remember to kind of like this. I can move this piece like this to get the spine and the side right here. So just able to just maneuver my hands just right to be able to get in there. And then I'll do the bottom. Right across here. And once this dries, I'll actually put it on the base so you can see where it matches, why I'm painting all of this green, even though some of it will not show up. Some of it will be under some of the base, and some of the brown that we already have or slide beneath the edging that's in black as we go around. But I want to make sure that when you look, this color is what you see, where it should be, and there's not like a gap where you're like, wait, there should be color there, but why is it just dark? As you can see now, we've got that green going all the way around, including on the spine. We can touch that spot up there just to make sure that it gets covered as well, but we'll catch it. And I'm just going around where the edge is, anything that would catch the green, just making sure it's that green color. Mix up our Runic Purple here. It'll be a fun stack of books. It looks good. For the next one, let's do like an orange, Lotus Orange on that top book. Let's have kind of a bright book pile. It looks like my internet may be down, so I'm just gonna keep painting and release these three, and if it stays down, then we'll make a quick little how to paint books video and come back at it tomorrow. So this is one of the problems with oranges, but it's not just it's not really just Reaper, it's any orange. It's tough to get really great solid coverage in one coat. So we're just gonna get what we can on here. And then continuously build up the layers over time. Hey everyone, if I'm back then and you're here, then I'm having internet issues. It's going up and down. So we'll see. We're gonna fight through these three books and we'll see what it's like when I'm done with the pages and the covers of these books. And we will go from there. So now let's go ahead, let's get to the page color. So, this is where I'm going to use this Swarthy Flesh to start. A couple drops there. We're going to get one thing of pure white and drop. And I'm actually going to try a little bit more of this radiation burn. That we've had for brown for the color of the dirt. And let's see what we get when we mix all of these together. So I'm not too worried about getting it on the green because I'm going to come back after the pages to touch up anywhere that I really want to be a different color. Interesting, is it going? Like I said, not worrying about anything other than getting this lightish brown color in there. Now, one of the other things is when you look at books, not all of them will be this same color. So, see, as it kind of dries, it's kind of drying with some lines there, some brown. Let's see, let's touch up the green real quick right here, just to see if we can get a sneak peek when we come back and do everything and get all the details touched up. Telling you, we're in for a treat. Look at that. I really like that green and the book color. I think they offset really well. Now the way that we'll separate kind of the color of these pages, like I said, you know, most books don't have the same exact color of pages, is the wash that we'll come through with. So I'm going to do like a Agrax Earth Shade. I have a couple Citadels from Games Workshop that I like to use as far as washes go. But I also have like Nuln Oil, things like that. So we just can play with the color of the wash that you put over the books once we get it all squared away and done. And then we can really come back and make the pages look different. But we're going to finish this top page here, and then we're going to end it tonight. And next we'll get the purple. And we'll just work our way down, touching up some of these details here. Just trying not to mess up the ones from the layer above. Alright, so for now, this is where we're going to end this stream tonight. We've got some books painted. We're having some internet issues, so I don't want to keep dealing with that. So we will let that sack dry, and we'll be back at it again another day this week. I'm not sure when yet, but I will post it and have it out there. So thanks for some of you who tuned in, and we will see you guys later this week. Hey, welcome everybody to tonight's episode of Beholder with a Brush. As you can see, I've got all the things that we've been working on so far in some of these videos for the dragon on display. We've got the actual dragon himself with the wing that we did quite a bit of the detail work on. You can kind of see the difference. This one's a little darker. It doesn't have as much detail. This one's got a little bit more of the ridges that are kind of those top side ridges that'll catch the light highlighted. We'll be getting to the scales another time, not tonight, but soon. Move him to the side. So a couple weeks ago we started on these books, and that is what we're going to continue to work on tonight. We're going to go over a couple things. I'm going to show you guys how I made these pages. Let's see if you can see the detail, if I can get it close enough to focus. So if you can see, I think you can, it seems like you can, there's a couple like lines that run along down the actual pages and make it look like there's some black kind of separation in between the parchment. That I actually did using an X-Acto knife, which we're going to use again and go through how we did that. Then we're going to add some more colors to this. I know one of the ways to help brighten things up and get like oranges and yellows to be more highlighted and really more strong is to come through with a pink undercoat. So I am going to use... I've had this one for a while, but in the month of October, if you order from Reaper and you go over a certain amount, they, at least in the past, have sent out breast cancer awareness, so pink paint. So I have quite a bit of pink paint from the orders that I've made. So we will highlight the books with that, and then reapply a layer. I don't know if you can see if we can get it to focus again on this. But you can see some of the top, it's got some darker areas. We really wanted a good coat of orange there before we highlighted the edges. So we're going to do the darker colors first, and then I'll come in and highlight the edges with this other brighter orange, just to give it that kind of weathered look to the book. So we've got that one there, this one here. There we go. All right. Like last time, I've got my rinse cup here. But we need to get the wet palette all set up and ready to go. So let's pour some water in, let the sponge start to soak it all up. We'll go from there. Just a reminder, if you guys have any friends or anybody who would not mind subscribing and watching, once we hit 50 subscribers on Twitch for the live show, this Mini Bob Ross here has promised to surprise you guys with one of his paintings. So we'll see what it is once we reach 50. So while this is soaking up the water, we'll give it a minute. We'll let it soak up as much as it can. We can get started by talking about these books. So if you look, I actually already did most of these with the X-Acto, but we're going to go over the process again, just so that you can see what it does and like how it kind of highlights it. So previously they were just flat like this with no texture. It's really hard to see because they're still primed, but you can see kind of these long lines running down the length of the book. All I did was I just took my X-Acto knife and I just carefully pull down and go all the way across, and you can see it's getting in deeper in some areas. And that's all just going to help once we go in and put in the parchment color and then use like a dark brown wash over it to get in between those. I figured it would be fun to share a little bit of this prep work rather than just do it behind the scenes and not mention it, but do it actually on the stream so everybody can see it. Alright, let's check our wet palette. Looks like there's a little bit too much water on it. That's alright. We're going to get our rinse cup. Pour the excess water in there. Leave just a little bit, because once we put that parchment paper on there, it's going to soak up the excess water. Again, we've got our parchment paper here. One piece out. Corners are going to roll up a little. Here they go. Try to keep it from going too far, rolling too far over so we don't get water on top. Then we'll let it unravel itself, roll back over, and then press it down if we need to. So as you can see, these books, they're actually like, this one goes right here. So they'll click in, but because we were able to kind of heat them and get them off, we're going to be able to paint them first and get a lot of detail on that we wouldn't normally be able to. And then attach them when they're done and ready. So last week we did the spooky special where we did a couple of the zombies. The week before we had done these books, we had issues with the internet going in and out. So some of it wasn't recorded, some was. But I noticed that, like I was saying, this coverage wasn't getting as much as I wanted on this orange. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to take this pink and we're going to do a thin layer of pink over the top of it. And then we'll come back with the other colors. That should really help us kind of get that undertone to make the orange brighter. And also, it will cover a little bit better. Our small books, we use a small brush. Let's use a size 1. Get him on the paint handle here. Oh, you know what? I did everything but get my shop rag. So here we go. We've got our shop rag. I use this just to get excess water or paint off. Since we haven't used the pink, I'll just do a little. And then see how thinned out we can get it. So I actually learned this method. I was talking to, I can't remember which artist it was, but it was at ReaperCon. We were discussing, they had this piece that had like potion bottles, and it was extremely vibrant, like just this really bright yellow. And I could not for the life of me at the time get yellow to look good. It was still very thinned out, very tough to really get a good coat on it without doing like 9 or 10 layers and making it look really thick. And I asked him, I said, how did you get your yellow to be that vibrant? Why is it standing out so much? What's the trick? And they said, undercoat it in pink. I did it one time and I've never looked back. You want bright colors, you want to undercoat them in pink, you will get the result that you're looking for, I promise. So we went from an orange to this pinkish tone all the way around with some orange underneath it. So really now what I need to do is get this Lotus Orange. We're going to let that one dry, and we're going to come back with that. So let's pop this guy off. Didn't touch it, we're good. Let's get these guys prepped and ready with a layer of pink while that dries, and then we'll go from there. All right. I also, within the last week, started posting some kind of, I called them brush tips. We went over how to use an airbrush to zenithal prime your minis. I posted that video. That was prepping the zombies for the spooky special last week. I've got actually the solution I use to not only clean but also thin my paints in my airbrush that I was taught. That is the secret mixture for that is out there. So that is actually over on my YouTube channel. If you slide on over to YouTube, all these live shows, when I'm done, I go through and edit. And recently started trying to, somebody mentioned adding subtitles, so I started adding some subtitles to them, so you can go back and rewatch, paint along. If there's theories or things that you would like me to cover, please comment in those videos, and I can absolutely start to work on some new content based on some things that you guys want to hear. Well, I should say want to hear and see, get an example of. Got a good paint coat on these. You can see the difference of the two. Last set of books to prime. And then we can go back to that orange and add some orange in there. That Lotus Orange color. Alright, now we've got all of these painted pink. Just paint the bottom, so we'll wait on that one for a minute. Let it dry before I remove it. Alright. Now let's get our Lotus Orange. Shake it up real good. Good old Lotus Orange. Let's get that on top of this pink. Should be dry. See how well that helps it kind of come out. I'll be honest, I'm probably still going to come in and put 2 coats on all the way around, but it does definitely look a lot brighter than it did before. So I do like the effect that I'm getting with this orange on top of the pink, but we do need to go around it twice and make sure we get everything that's orange kind of colored. I'm sorry, everything that's pink turned to orange. I, for one, like this color of orange much better than what we started with. I think it's more vibrant. I think it's kind of what I was going for as far as catching the eye. And remember, this is going to go, what's it, on the back right here. Kind of facing this way. So you're really only going to see the spines. You're not even going to see the pages in that. But I'm still going to take my time and make sure I get those to look really nice. This is a piece for a friend, so I like to make sure that if it's not something I'd be happy with, it's not something I'm sending out type of thing. And while that dries, we can touch up the purple book here with a little Runic Purple. And the interesting thing is, like, in the Triad, purple and orange, like in their Triad, they're really secondary colors. So this, like, purple and orange, they complement each other well. And so does this green right here. Probably a little bit of a brighter green than what I used would be better as far as to offset it with the secondary colors and that kind of scheme. But I really liked this darker one. Which kind of leans more towards the blues, so I guess it's a little closer to the purple, so it does work out because it's kind of blending with each other, but wasn't originally my intention. As Bob Ross would say, it's a happy accident. sitting like this behind him, I want to try to get the light coming from this angle. So I'm trying to just hit these edges right here going back, and I'll leave these back ones not done. But these front ones coming this way and this side, those are all going to be touched up with a brighter form of orange. So now I'm just going to come in here and just put some horizontal lines to just kind of try to give this book a little bit of definition. But I think what I really need, and I'm going to probably get some and go over it tonight so we can see what it does to the books, is the Ace of Spades black color that I have. Come in here and put it on here and really separate these bright colors from the orange and just give it a little bit of definition as we go. So what I'm trying to do here is change the angle of the highlight. I don't want it to be directly on this spine because the light's coming kind of like this. So I want it to be along the top edges. So I'm just trying to not go over the edge, but also just kind of trace the top of the edge with this paintbrush. And not necessarily put it inside the book, but just around the edges. So now, let's see if we can. So now you can kind of see the different definition, the spine work. As you come around the top, you see the edges look brighter. That's all highlighting. So that's all just getting this lighter orange and just tracing along the top of that line a few times, and even bringing it inside a little. You can kind of do one layer just inside of there to really get that transition from the edge to the inner of the book. So let's see if we can do that over here. Let's get that side and then connect it here and just trace up the inside here. And you can see how it really warms up around the edges and makes this middle part dark. So let's do the same thing along this edge. Let's get this edge going. One more highlight, and then let's get just a touch more. Just do like a single layer along this spine here. And then along this one, let's get a little bit of the darker orange. I'm just gonna start to fill in the middle and just work it out a little. Same thing up and around here. And what we're doing is we're kind of teasing the paint into this gradient as it dries, so that the book will have this natural darkening from the edges to the center. We want to give it kind of like some definition so it looks like it's raised. We'll get this lighter color and go from the corner that's at the sun and just kind of pull back at an angle. Like this. Just to kind of give it this light line pull across the top. Now we'll come in and put another layer of this darker color, but go over this light trail. Because what it'll do is allow it to darken around it and darken this light trail that we put on. But even though it's dark, it won't be hidden. It'll just be kind of masked. And just keep blending over it until we get to the shade that we like. But now let's get this Ace of Spades. So I don't want too much, because I just want enough to do like tiny little lines. So I'm just gonna get the tip of the brush in it. And now I'm just gonna come down here and let's see. Now our top book is really starting to look like a book. The question is, what should I freehand on this book? We're gonna save that. We'll save the freehanding of the book for Alaska. Who this is for. What they like right there. And we can make it work. So now, we did this a little different. So, let's see how this turns out. Because for this one, I did the lightest color first. Which, with the orange, we did the darker orange, then we went to the lighter orange. But with the purple, I didn't mean to, but I did it the opposite. So, we're just going to pretend like it was on purpose and roll with it. Darker purple, and I'm going to come in here. Just darken the top of that book up. Now let's see. I'm going to try to leave a little bit of the lighter color along the edges to give it that contrast. I feel like I severely underachieved tonight with how much I'm getting done, but at the same time, I do feel pretty good about what I'm getting done. So, let us do one more thing. Let's see. For this green book, I'm thinking about trying something, and I'm going to. I want to really make it stand out and pop. I am going to use... No, I don't want to use what is on his scales. Okay, I was going to do green and gold, but yeah, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to do green and gold. And I'm going to use the same color as the dragon, so if it takes away from it, I apologize. But I don't think it will. So what we're going to make now, kind of an idea. Wanting to do almost like an infinity sign on this. Some of this will be kind of underground too, because this green book butts up against where this foot is. So there's still a little bit of a lip there that's going to be covered up, but we're going to paint the whole thing. It's going to cover up some details, but going into it, I already know this. Get a little bit of the lighter green color. The light green is called leaf green, and the dark green is forest green, which we probably will need a little bit of that here shortly. This is where I kind of go off the rails here. I have Citadel Agrax Earthshade, and that's what I use for my pages. It comes out really well. So a wash is just kind of like a watered down paint. Like you can really make your own wash. Like you see how liquidy that is, just on there. And I'm just gonna come in here and I'm just gonna touch up these pages with it, just to try to darken the parchment. I don't know if you can tell the difference here, but this is going to be the lighter one that we haven't washed yet. And then you see how it's just kind of shiny. And then this, it's still kind of shiny, but it dulls it down just a little. All right. Let's let that dry for a second. Once it's all dry, I am gonna put it on the base. Let's see what it looks like. See how it turned out. And that is one of the book stacks down. So it does take a little bit to, paint these, but definitely worth the payoff. Okay, let's see if we can get it off here. It'll slide in right there. Now we can even... Alright, Guinevere, be gentle. So as you can see, the foot's going to kind of block a lot of it, but, as you look around and you're looking and you're holding it, looking at real up close, you're going to see that detail as it comes around, and it's 100% worth it. All right, but that is where we're going to end the stream tonight. So we didn't do a ton, but we did get the details and the fine lines and everything put in on this book. We'll see. Maybe we will figure out exactly what logo they would like on top, and maybe I could try to freehand a logo or some type of picture to insinuate a book title. I don't know. But thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great night. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, guys, and we'll see you next week.